What's up, everyone? It's Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I really want to talk about sort of what trainers want training to be and what training actually is. Because we talk to a lot of people or talk to a lot of clients who go through 2 or 3, 4, even 5 trainers, spend thousands of dollars before they come to me, and they still want results. Some dogs come to me not even knowing how to walk after working with 2 or 3 trainers. And so I want to talk about why it's so important to train in the real world versus feeding into what people want training to be. So what I mean by what people want training to be is they'd rather have training be no stress on the dog, no adversives, no consequences, all food. That's what trainers want training to be. As little stress as possible, as little discomfort as possible, just strictly learning by different techniques, positive only techniques. So this is what trainers want training to be. But I often talk to people who are turned off by that or don't get results from that. And one situation in particular, I was training this dog who is very, very cat aggressive. The people have to keep the cats in the basement. And this dog was so fixated on just the sound of a doorknob that it would try and chew through the doors to get to the cats in the basement. They had to replace the molding. They had to replace all of these things, the wood on the door, because the dog wanted to get to the cats. And so here's the big difference between training how you want trainers to be, or excuse me, how trainers want the training to go versus what the family actually needs. So, for example, they told me that the previous trainers previous to me would come over and bring boards and have the dog step on the boards for confidence building. And we're dealing with a cat aggression issue. And I asked them, so what do the boards have to do with the cat aggression? And they told me that the dog, they were trying to build confidence. And, it just kind of bothers me a little bit because I just don't see the correlation. So obviously it didn't work because they wouldn't have called me. So what trainers want it to be, I don't know what they just don't think training should involve stress. But I disagree. I think dogs will have to go through stress, and they should actually learn how to deal with stress in a positive way, because life is stressful, period. There's not a living being on this earth that's not going to encounter some sort of stress. That's just the way of the world. So what I did was I used my pet convincer. I used the pet convincer one time. The dog, I just jiggled the doorknob. Sure enough, this dog comes charging at the door because she's trying to shoot down the basement, get to the cats. As soon as the dog came over, I sprayed the dog with the pet convincer, which is just air. If you don't know, it's just air. It just goes, it just shoots air. And the dog hightailed it out of there. So I said no. I sprayed the dog and I stepped forward, claiming that space, right? The dog ran away, tucked its tail, and was now stressed. All right, but even the parents and even as a society, we now started to feel sorry for the dog. But I said, don't feel sorry for that dog. Let that dog completely know that this door has now became a boundary that you cannot even come close to, because we cannot have the dog tear up the door anymore. So I was claiming that space, and I said, do not touch that dog. They're so used to feeling sorry for that dog in the wrong way, because the other trainers have sort of let them fall into that, or didn't educate them on how or when you should actually be praising your dog. Do not praise your dog if they're stressed, especially if you want your dog to fully get the benefit from the correction. Allow the dog to mess up and let them deal with it on their own, because it's their problem. Okay? We want to claim that certain space with the cats because the owners think that the dog, if it got to the cat, it would kill the cats. And based on the intensity of what she told me about the door and trying to get through the door, yeah, we're going to make life a little stressful for her for a second. Because, hey, what's up? Because life needs to be stressful in that regard. If, what's up? Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. Married man. So anyway, stress is definitely something that is going to happen no matter what. There's no going around it. So we might as well teach our dogs how to deal with it and get comfortable with it, because it's going to happen. Do not try and avoid it. Don't try to coddle it. Don't try to, there's just things that you have to allow your dog to face 100% so that they can get over it. And the first thing that I would do, again, if I corrected my dog, I would allow him to just soak it in. There'd be no interaction. Let him deal with it. Now, the dog, just at the sight of the pet convincer, decides to respect that boundary. So, I say all that to say, I'm going to keep this video relatively short, but I say all that to say what trainers want training to be is not what it is sometimes. So the majority of the time, people that call me, there have been trainers that think just like that. They want training to be peaceful. Maybe it works for some dogs, but I doubt it. Every dog is going to go through stress, and every dog is going to have a consequence in order to have some sort of relationship with that dog. All right? So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Jeremy Majors here with out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, with Majors Academy Dog Training. We'll see you in the next video.